Life is strange. Not so many years ago, we fought as enemies at the Trident.
I'm glad we never met on the field, Sir Bereston. As is my wife. I don't think the widow's life would suit her.
You're too modest. I've seen you cut down a dozen great knights.
My father once told me you were the best he'd ever seen. I never knew the man to be wrong about matters of combat.
He was a fine man, your father. What the Mad King did to him was a terrible crime.
Oh, was it? Hey everyone. Today we're going to go over one of my favorite theories and one that I think is pretty much true. Southern ambitions. So, to go into this theory, we've got to go back. All the way back to the events before the timeline of the show and the books. So at this point in history, the Mad King is starting to earn his namesake. Remember, he wasn't always like this, but let's start this theory off with an interesting question. Was his paranoia justified? Or was there an actual reason for his descent into madness? Let's take a look at the north and at Ned Stark's father, Rickon Stark. We know from history that he was planning on his daughter marrying Robert Baratheon and his son Brandon marrying Catelyn of Riverrun. He left his other son Ned to foster with Jon Arryn of the Vale along with Robert Baratheon. What was his reason for splitting his children up? What does Rickon Stark doing making an alliance with the Baratheons? They lived farther south than King's Landing. All these marriages and pacts would have left the North and the associated kingdoms with some powerful allies. This would have been an alliance strong enough to challenge or put pressure on the crown, which is exactly what ended up happening in Robert's rebellion. Here we see Robb Stark's bannermen declare him king.
Pledge fealty to King Renly and move south to join our forces with his.
Renly is not the king.
You cannot mean to hold to Joffrey, my lord. He put your father to death.
That doesn't make Renly king. He's Robert's youngest brother. Bran can't be Lord of Winterfell before me. Renly can't be king before Stannis.
Do you mean to declare us for Stannis?
Renly is not right.
My lords, here is what I say to these two kings. Renly Baratheon is nothing to me, nor Stannis neither. Why should they rule over me and mine from some flowery seat in the south? What do they know of the war or the Wolfswood? Even their gods are wrong. Why shouldn't we rule ourselves again?
As you can see, the idea does not originate with Robb, but instead with his bannermen. Many of these men fought with his father in Robert's rebellion, and some of them must have had meetings with Rickon Stark. So is the desire for independence something that's been growing in the North for a long time? The Mad King was crazy and paranoid, but maybe his paranoia was not completely unfounded. So the question here is of one of two things. Were these kingdoms possibly thinking of breaking away from the crown? Or were they looking at removing Aerys from power and installing someone like Rhaegar to the throne? We also know from the books that others saw that something needed to be done. In A Feast for Crows, Jaime recalls the last words that Rhaegar ever said to him. That when the battle was done, he would call a council and make changes he meant to long ago. We know that never happened, as Rhaegar never returned from the Trident, but it's clear that many people were unhappy with the Mad King's reign. Did they wish for Rhaegar to take the throne? Many people loved Rhaegar, and even Ned views him with indifference rather than hate. Might they have even been moving away from a monarchy?
Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed my partner, but we love this theory as it just makes sense that Rickon Stark was planning something with all these southern ambitions. What do you think? Look out for our next video, leave a comment, like or subscribe, and as always, have a good one.